Are you tired? Tired of the perpetual smile, the one you wear every morning like a costume? In a world obsessed with positive vibes only, we are pressured to push down our shadows. We are told that sadness is a failure or a dangerous flaw to be fixed. But underneath that polished facade, do you feel a heavy, hollow ache? A quiet exhaustion that no amount of forced gratitude can heal. Most women spend their lives performing a role, the character of the happy woman. But at what cost? The price of this endless performance is a deep disconnection from your own soul. Carl Jung once said, "I would rather be whole than good." These words are a sacred permission slip. They allow us to step away from the noise into the quiet garden of our own depth. Today, we are finally breaking the silence. We are stepping through the wall of faked positivity to meet a misunderstood teacher, your inner melancholy. It is not a darkness to fear or a depression to be cured. It is a gateway to your most profound strength and authentic peace. Welcome back to Depth Journey, a safe space where you no longer have to hide. Let us find your wholeness in the silence.
Have you ever scrolled through your social media feed and felt a sudden, sharp sense of failure simply because you were not glowing? We are living in the era of the perpetual smile. It is a world where we are commanded to find the silver lining even before we have been allowed to feel the storm. This is the trap of toxic positivity. It is an invisible weight, especially for women navigating the complexities of midlife. Take a moment to think of Elena. She's 47 years old. She is the definition of the sandwich generation. During the day, she manages a demanding career. In the evening, she tends to her aging mother's needs while trying to stay connected to her teenage daughter. She is the one who holds everything together. She is the one who is always expected to be the anchor. When Elena feels the weight of her exhaustion or a wave of unexplained sadness, she sees the messages everywhere. Good vibes only. Choose happiness. Manifest your best life. And so, Elena does what she was trained to do. She puts on the mask. She performs the role of the woman who has it all figured out. She posts the smiling photo, but inside, a cold, hollow void is opening up. She is performing a version of happiness while her spirit is starving for a moment of raw, honest truth. We have been conditioned to believe that sadness is a sign of weakness. We treat our deeper emotions like viruses that must be scrubbed away with an upbeat podcast or a new gratitude journal. But I want you to notice the cost of this constant sunshine. When a landscape is only exposed to the sun, it becomes a desert. Nothing of substance can grow without the rain. By demanding constant positivity, we are actually dehydrating our own spirits. We are leaking our precious psychic energy into a performance, leaving nothing left for our authentic self-discovery. The price of the perpetual smile is a profound disconnection from your own soul. When you stop being honest about your shadows, you slowly lose the ability to feel the genuine light. Everything becomes a thin, gray imitation of a life. But what if the darkness we are so desperate to avoid is actually the very thing we need to find our way back to ourselves? What if the wisdom you seek isn't waiting for you in the light, but in the quiet, cool shadows of your own melancholy?
So what is this mysterious teacher we call melancholy? We must begin by clearing away the clouds of misunderstanding. In our modern world, we often use the word sadness and the word depression as if they were the same thing. But through the lens of Carl Jung, they are worlds apart. Depression is a theft. It steals your energy, your color, and your ability to feel. It is a dead end. But melancholy is a doorway. It is a sacred, reflective state where the soul pulls its energy back from the world to look inward. Imagine your spirit as a vast garden. Society tells you that your garden should always be in full bloom, endless spring, eternal summer. But any gardener knows that a land without winter eventually dies. Melancholy is your spirit's winter. It is the time when the ego grows quiet and the seeds of your future self are resting deep beneath the soil. Carl Jung understood that the soul needs the dark just as much as it needs the light. He once described the process of becoming whole as a descent into the depths, and melancholy is that descent. It is a moonlit ocean, vast, silver, and full of hidden truths. In the history of our world, the great artists, the thinkers, and the mystics did not run from this quiet ache. They called it the divine sickness. They knew that certain truths can only be seen when the bright, blinding sun of daily productivity goes down. When you allow yourself to enter this winter garden, you are not failing at being happy. You are succeeding at being deep. You are moving from the surface of your life to the core. In this space, the noise of the world fades. The expectations of who you should be begin to dissolve. You are no longer the mother, the boss, or the anchor. You are simply a soul sitting in the sacred silence of your own being. There is a profound beauty in this slow thought, in this introspective reflection. It is where you finally hear the whispers that your busy life has drowned out for decades. This is where true creativity is born. This is where the jewels of your character are forged. But why does our modern culture try so hard to keep us from this depth? What is the price we pay when we refuse to let the sun go down? And what happens to your energy when the tax of suppression becomes too high? Have you ever felt a leak in your soul? A subtle, constant draining of your internal battery, even when you are doing nothing at all? This is the invisible tax of emotional suppression. When we force ourselves to be happy, when we exile our melancholy to the shadows, we are not making the sadness go away. We are simply using massive amounts of our vital energy to keep the door locked. In the wisdom of Carl Jung, this is a dangerous misuse of your psychic energy. You are essentially running a heavy software program in the background of your mind 24 hours a day, and that program is called pretending. This is not just a poetic idea. The cost is biological. A landmark study published in PubMed in 2024 revealed a staggering truth for women in midlife. Those who consistently practiced emotional suppression, those who felt they must maintain a positive facade at all costs, had a 300% higher risk of chronic burnout and physical exhaustion compared to those who allowed themselves to feel their full range of emotions. The data is clear. Your body is paying the price for the smile you are forced to wear for the world. Midlife burnout is rarely from working too hard. It is from feeling too little of your own truth. But here's the secret power hidden within that discomfort. Your melancholy is not a malfunction. It is a compass. Think of Elena again. She spent years feeling a persistent gray ache, but she labeled it as fatigue and drank more coffee to push through. When she finally stopped running, when she sat in the silence of her own sadness, the compass needle began to move. Her melancholy was not telling her she was broken. It was telling her that she had sacrificed her own creative fire for the sake of being convenient for everyone else. It pointed directly to the unmet needs she had buried for 20 years. When we acknowledge the shadow, the leak stops. The energy you once used for suppression is suddenly returned to you. It becomes the fuel for your genuine transformation. So, I want you to take a sacred pause right now. Close your eyes and feel that quiet, heavy space within you. Do not try to fix it. Simply ask your sadness this one question. What are you trying to protect in me? Listen for the answer in the silence. Individuation, according to Carl Jung, is the process of becoming who you truly are. It is not a journey toward perfection, it is a journey toward wholeness. And you cannot be whole if you are missing half of your emotional colors. To reach the second half of life with grace, you must stop negotiating with society's demand for constant cheer. You must reclaim your right to be complex. So, how do we begin this integration in our daily lives? It begins with 3 simple rituals for emotional honesty. First, the ritual of the unfiltered journal. Each evening, spend 5 minutes writing exactly how you feel. Do not use a filter. Do not try to make it sound positive. If you feel weary, write that you are tired of the weight you carry. If you feel a quiet sorrow, let the ink hold it for you. This is not wallowing, this is witnessing. Second, the ritual of sacred silence. Find 10 minutes today to sit without a screen, without a book, and without a task. Let the silence be a mirror. When the urge to be busy arises, simply notice it. This is the moment your shadow begins to speak, and in the quiet you can finally hear her. Third, the ritual of the liberation spell. When you feel the pressure to perform happiness, I want you to say this to yourself. I accept my darkness, for it is where the stars within me shine. This is your mantra. It is your declaration of sovereignty. By practicing these rituals, you are telling your psyche that you are a safe harbor for the truth. The energy you used to spend on suppression will slowly transform. It will become a deep, steady hum of authentic peace. You will find that you no longer need the world to tell you that you are okay, because you are finally anchored in your own reality. Individuation is the ultimate act of rebellion against a superficial world. It is choosing the moon over the neon lights. As you step into this wholeness, you may notice your relationships beginning to shift. You may find that some people no longer know how to relate to a woman who is no longer performing, but you will also find a depth of connection that was never possible before. We have spent so long running toward the sun, but tonight I invite you to turn around, look at your shadow, and see it for what it truly is. Not a failure, not a defect. It is the silver reflection of your soul's greatest wisdom. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You simply need to be honest. As you step away from the facade of constant cheer, you are not losing your light. You are grounding it in the soil of your own reality. Let us begin this journey of wholeness together. I want to witness your courage. Write in the comments right now, I embrace my depth. Let this be your first sacred act of honesty. When you stop performing for the world, you might feel a sudden shift. You might feel that the world no longer sees the person you used to be. You might even feel invisible. But what if invisibility is actually your greatest unseen power? In our next journey, we will unmask the invisible woman archetype and discover why this stage of life is your most powerful act yet. Your depth is your gift. Stay true to your soul.